What fascinates me about science and legal scholarship? If there's one goal common to all science and scholarly endeavors, it is the quest for understanding. How does our world function? Why is it the way it is? Of course, natural scientists like chemists or physicists will ask different specific questions and use different methods than, say, literature scholars, sociologists, or lawyers, but the motivation is the same: curiosity and pursuit of knowledge. In my field of study, that is law and technology, scholars attempt to understand how the law contributes to the technological developments, assess what is good and bad about them, imagine how the world could be different, and survey the ways for legal reform. It's fascinating because it comes with all those aha moments, when you realize that socio-technological world did not have to be the way it is, that it's contingent, while at the same time, it is not random. The law co-created it. Such knowledge gives one fulfillment, but might also be helpful to others. Who am I? What was my career path? My name is Przemysławem Pałka. I graduated in 2013 from the University of Warsaw, Poland. Completed my PhD in 2017 at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy. I worked under supervision of Professor Giovanni Sartor and as a research assistant to Professor Hans Miklitz. With their teams, we studied the intersections of law and technology, specifically artificial intelligence, before it was cool, and we looked at both the challenges that AI poses to law and opportunities it creates in empowering the consumers. Later, I moved to the United States and worked at Yale Law School in the Center for Private Law, directed by Daniel Markowitz, while also being a fellow at Jack Balkin's Information Society project, with which I'm still affiliated. I started working at the Jagiellonian University in 2021, leading a project on private law of data, funded by Norway grants, and I'm still here, wrapping it up and kicking off the next one, funded by the Polish National Science Center this time. And this one's devoted to mental harms consumers suffer in the digital economy. What scholarly problems do I study and why? Broadly speaking, my research concerns the intersections of private, consumer, and data law with digital technologies like artificial intelligence and online platforms. I study the digital economy empirically, for example, by analyzing the contents of online consumer contracts or trying to model why corporations behave the way they do, but also from a conceptual and normative perspective. I ask questions like, is the language that the law currently uses sufficient to explain what is going on online? Or what are the yet unnoticed good and bad sides of digitalization? Currently, I'm working on a project devoted to mental costs of the data economy, the impact smartphones and social media have on consumers' cognitive functions, well-being, and mental health. Also, the role the law plays in facilitating the emergence of this phenomena, broadly understood as data economy, and the possible ways for legal reform. Why? I personally find it interesting, but I also believe those are important political challenges where academia and policymakers can find convergence in trying to understand them while also trying to advance our society. What brought me to the Jagiellonian University? If I'm to be honest, a specific person, namely Professor Bartosz Brożek. I've known him for a while. We met back when I was a PhD student in Florence and loosely collaborated on various projects. And I have admired the work he and his research team were doing. The ability to combine research on specific branches of law with philosophy and cognitive science. You know, hardcore metaphysical problems with fMRI experiments and draw conclusions relevant for, say, consumer law, that was something I found really cool and just wanted to be a part of his team. Is there anything specific or particular to my research environment? Well, I work at the Faculty of Law and Administration, and traditionally, the legal scholar's work was usually pretty lonely, where a scholar would sit, interpret statutes, read others' work, and try to figure out what the law is. But this is rapidly changing right now. Legal scholarship is moving towards more empirical approaches, more critical and creative paradigms, interdisciplinary work, if you will, towards the problem of the world rather than the problems of the text. And this necessitates changes in the research environment. There are some things you just can't do alone, like tag 200 contracts to create a database, or that will be of lower quality if you attempt to do it alone, like coming up with a new conceptual framework for discussing some new phenomena. Personally, I now lead a team directly employing 5 people, with several more associated. We hold regular meetings to brainstorm, to support each other, and try to find this sweet spot between creativity, fun, and actually getting the reading and writing done. I like it, but then again, I'm a bit of a nerd. What has Jagiellonian University given me? Well, it clearly gave me the inspiration. I don't think I would have come up with the idea of mental costs, the one currently animating my project, had I not moved here. My research concerned the negative mental impacts that social media smartphones might have on their users already back in the US at Yale, but to notice that it is a general phenomenon that is present in the workplace, in contacts with public administration, while being audited, while waiting for that one email for weeks. To notice that a person can live with this constant feeling of mental overhead, this I've only realized here. That's the huge added value of the JU's research environment for me. One advice for people starting their work at the Jagiellonian. Well, JU is a huge university. We have 2 campuses, so I'm sure the experience and the advice is different depending on the department. But if you do law or anything else that does not require your physical presence in the lab, I would say get to know as many people as you can. Get involved and resist the urge to always work from home. Many smart and inspiring people work at the Jagiellonian, but the culture of communication here is precisely not to swamp you with information about what is going on all the time. It's much more interpersonal. Your colleagues and friends from work are a huge asset, and it's hard to get to know them online only. So my advice, come to work.